They thought the German Shepherd was becoming dangerous. They were completely wrong. The sound of a 5-year-old German Shepherd pressing his full face against a screaming toddler is not a sound you forget. It isn't aggression. It doesn't sound like aggression. It sounds like something more deliberate than that. A stillness inside the chaos that doesn't belong to the dog you thought you knew. Renata Ose had worked pediatric home health for 9 years. She had sat across kitchen tables from parents who had missed things. She had written the incident reports. She trusted her training the way most people trust gravity, without deciding to, just because it had never been wrong before. Her son Owen was 16 months old, 2 days out from a stomach virus that had left him fussy and slow. He was eating again. His fever was gone. By every marker Renata knew, he was on the other side of it. Marcus had been in their home since before Owen existed, an 80-pound German Shepherd who had never shown anything but patience with the boy, with the ear-grabbing, the sudden shrieking, the lurch of a toddler learning to navigate a large animal without understanding the first thing about one. He was the kind of dog people described as settled. Her husband Darnell used the word steady. Their neighbors said reliable, which is why what happened on a Thursday afternoon made no sense at all. Owen was on the playmat, working himself into a cry that started as frustration and moved into something harder. Renata was in the kitchen. She heard Marcus get up from his place near the hallway and cross the living room. She came around the corner and found him lowering his face toward Owen's face, his long dark muzzle inches from the toddler's open mouth. Owen screamed louder. Marcus did not move back. Marcus. Off. He lifted his amber eyes to her, stayed exactly where he was. She stepped between them. He moved around her. His body language was not threat, no raised hackles, no fixed stare, no tension through the hindquarters she would have recognized. He simply wanted to be in front of the baby's face, nothing more, nothing less. She pulled him by the collar to the other side of the room. He sat. He watched Owen with a quality of attention that made the hair on her arms stand up in a way she couldn't name, and didn't let herself examine too closely. Darnell came home that evening, and she told him. He watched Marcus at dinner. The dog had repositioned himself near Owen's high chair, and twice, when Owen fussed, Marcus rose from his spot, walked toward the boy's face, and pressed his nose toward Owen's chin. Darnell pulled him away both times. "That's not okay," he said. She agreed. They had a baby. They didn't have room to be wrong about this. Her sister called that night. She described the behavior. Her sister said it without hesitation. Resource guarding. She had read about it. A dog that had been the center of attention and now redirects that energy toward the child. It was in every article she had seen about dogs and new babies. Renata already knew the term. She had used it in documentation. 3 people had now reached the same conclusion, using the same framework. That felt, at the time, like certainty. Marcus went to the laundry room. Door closed. Baby gate across the hallway for good measure. Owen settled almost immediately, and Renata sat on the couch and felt the particular relief of a problem contained. She fell asleep there. Darnell covered her with a blanket. At 1:43 in the morning she heard the door, not scratching, the sound of 80 pounds of dog throwing itself against hollow wood. Once, twice. Sustained, she was up before she decided to be. Down the hall, Marcus hit the door again. She opened it, and he went past her without looking at her, straight to Owen's room, nose over the crib rail, pressed to the sleeping boy's face. Owen wasn't crying. He was too quiet. She registered that the wrong way first. Relief. And then something older than her training kicked in through her hands when she reached into the crib and felt the temperature of him. She turned on the lamp. His lips had a color. She knew that color from work, not from panic, from 9 years of documentation, from the clinical language she had written in small, careful letters on intake forms at 3 in the afternoon on unremarkable Thursdays. She picked him up. His body was wrong. In a specific way, a limpness that was not sleep. And she was already calling Darnell's name and reaching for her phone at the same time, cycling into the vocabulary of her work, because her work vocabulary did not feel things. It just moved. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you are in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The number in the emergency room was 34. Normal floor for a toddler his age was 70. Owen's blood glucose had dropped to 34 milligrams per deciliter while he slept. A post-viral hypoglycemic crash that occurs when a toddler's glycogen stores deplete during illness and the body fails to compensate. No dramatic symptoms preceded. No cry. No shaking. Just a sliding away that happens in silence while the monitors stay quiet. Dr. Patience Antwi, pediatric endocrinology, told them in the morning. The dog was smelling isoprene, she said. When blood glucose drops, the metabolic shift produces volatile compounds in exhaled breath. Isoprene is among the most detectable. A German shepherd's olfactory system registers those compounds at concentrations thousands of times below human threshold. He was reading a number you couldn't see. Every time he pressed his nose toward Owen's face, he was running a test on your son's breath chemistry. She paused. You got here when you did. 20 more minutes and we would be managing a seizure. Maybe worse. Has your dog ever done something you couldn't explain until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Renata sat with it. Marcus pressing toward the open, screaming mouth. Not aggression. Breath sampling. Marcus moving around her in the kitchen. Not fixation. An alert she kept cancelling. The sustained sound of him throwing his body against the laundry room door in the dark. Not anxiety. The only working alarm in the house, locked in a room, because they had been too certain too quickly. The three of them agreeing. That was the part she came back to. Not one person deciding wrong. All of them deciding wrong together. Each one confirming what the others already believed. None of them asking why the behavior had started now, why this dog that had lived 3 calm years in this house would suddenly change in the days after the baby's virus. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. They brought Owen home on a Saturday, a continuous glucose monitor on his arm, small and oval, sending readings to both their phones every 5 minutes. Marcus met them at the door. He did not perform anything. He walked to where Renata set Owen down in his bouncy chair, stood beside it, lowered his head, and exhaled once, long and slow, the breath of a dog who has finished a task. Then he lay down on the floor beside the chair. The monitor blinked green in the quiet room. Marcus lay with his chin on the floor, watching the small oval light. Tomorrow there is another story. about a dog who changed his entire personality 6 days before a diagnosis the doctors called impossible to catch this early.